Welcome back. Bottom of the fifth here at Wrigley. Reds and Cubs tied at 1. Cubs trying to make it 6 in a row, and we are delighted to be joined up here in the booth by Cubs President of Baseball Operations, Jed Hoyer. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Just enjoying these final games, and they're playing well.
We're playing well on a beautiful day, so
yeah.
This is great.
Just last inning, there was a really cool moment with Jason Hayward out on the field and the video for him, and then an amazing ovation. Can you tell me a little bit about when you look at him and you think about his tenure here and winning it all, like sort of what goes through your head?
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. I was thrilled for Jason to get to say goodbye to the fans in that way, and I think in typical Jason fashion, pulling the ring out of his pocket was fantastic. And I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with our fans as well. Obviously, we won a World Series with Jason. Parts of that contract haven't gone as we hoped, and the fact that all these people gave him a standing ovation for a long time, and really they know how much he meant to the clubhouse. They know how much he meant to the 2016 team, and they also know how much he means to a lot of charities in the city and how much he's done for a lot of people. So I thought that was really impressive. There's a reason this is the best place to play, and moments like that really show it.
Yeah, it was really, really cool, really special. And obviously he's impacted a lot of the guys in that clubhouse, a lot of the younger guys, just in terms of learning how to go about your business on a day-in, day-out basis. Yeah,
JD could speak to this. Part of, becoming a professional in this game is you have to emulate guys you're around on a day-to-day basis, and the best players, they carry themselves in a certain way, they prepare a certain way, and Jason did a wonderful job with our young guys throughout of taking the time to teach them how to be a professional, how to go about your business, and how to last in this game, and he did impact a lot of those guys.
At a time too when he was really struggling on the field, and you could understand where and we've seen it with veteran guys sometimes would just kind of disengage from the team. So all credit to him for staying involved and being that mentor for so many young players.
It's not that difficult to lead when you're playing great and everything is going your way. It's really difficult to lead when you're struggling at the plate, losing some playing time, and being willing to take that time out. That's when a lot of guys kind of retreat into a shell, as you said, and he never did that, which is a real tribute to his character.
5 walks now for Lodolo. That is a career high, and here's Happ. And a swing and a miss. Let me ask you this. When you look at the second half and what has gone well, what do you analyze and say, I think this is real, this is a positive that we take with us going forward?
I think the biggest thing, two things. Number one, I give so much credit to the players and so much credit to the coaching staff for continuing to play hard the entire time. It's a long season, and when we traded 4 relievers at the deadline, and it would be easy at that point to say, well, we traded guys away. This season's not about winning, and the fact that the coaching staff and the players have every day come in here, done their job, and I think we're 7 over in the second half. I think it's really impressive and really a testament to that group and their hard work. So I think that's what I would say. I do feel like we've made real strides on the pitching side. Whether each of those guys can replicate what they've done the second half, I'm not sure. But as a group, we've pitched exceptionally well. We've thrown strikes, and listen, pitching and defense wins, and I'm not sure how many consecutive games, or it's like 16 or 17 or 17 of 18 now. We've had a starter hasn't given up more than a couple runs, and more than 3 runs, I guess, and that's how you go on winning streaks. That's how you play consistent baseball is through pitching and defense. It's hard in this game, especially today's game with the way pitching staffs are. It's hard to have these long, consistent offensive stretches, but you can do that on the pitching and defense side, and I think we've done an exceptional job of that. Whatever this is, the last 2.5 months.
Is there anything about the rules changes that you think will change how teams construct rosters or try to go about winning games?
I think athleticism is going to be at a premium again. You're not going to be able to hide some bad defenders in the shift, and we've been able to do that for a while. Some of the players that might be sort of slightly below average third baseman can slide over and play second in the shift, and I don't think that's going to be able to happen. I think it's going to put a premium on that, and I think that the step-off rules and the bigger bases and things like that are really going to encourage guys to run more. So I think the game is going to be pushed a little bit more into towards athleticism, and they've done so many different studies and focus groups on what's the most exciting thing in baseball, and triples, stolen bases, athletic plays are what always come up, and so I think we'll have more of that in the game, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah. So then, do you pursue speed guys in the off season? Is that too simplistic?
I think you use focus on focus on athleticism, guys that can really play their position, that don't need the shift to help them out. I think in every game, athleticism matters, no matter what the rules are. But I think that's going to be at a premium, and I think teams are going to be looking for that going forward.
I'm kind of trying to envision next year infield alignments with no shift, and I'm envisioning first baseman way off the line, right? Because you're still going to want to cover the middle. You're still going to want your second baseman with certain hitters kind of out near second base. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, normally you don't, when you talk about player acquisition, you're not thinking we got to get a first baseman with a lot of range. But I would think that would be, first base is going to be an interesting position to watch next year.
It's funny you said that. We've talked about that too. That I still think you got to play on the dirt, and you have to have two on each side. But you're still going to have like India. On the last batter was playing kind of shaded up the middle. You're still going to shade guys a lot, and so I agree with you. You play against like the Diamondbacks, and you watch like Christian Walker is so far off the bag. Some of the best first basemen can really get off there, and it makes a huge difference. It allows that second baseman to play, right where that where the rule that where the V is going to be. They'll be able to play right there, and that gives you the ability to shade guys heavily and not lose that range on the right side. So I think you're totally right. I think that athletic first baseman will be something people will look for.
Are they actually going to put a mark on the field? Will there be
They are not.
They are not.
I asked Morgan Sword that the other day, and they said no. So they're going to eyeball it. I don't know. Why wouldn't you put a mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be people are going to push the envelope. Right now, is India where he's playing right now? Is that in the V or not in the V? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure either.
So, turning our attention to the offseason and free agents, when do you get busy? I mean, obviously you're scouting guys and you know who's going to be out there, but when does that start to really ratchet up?
In the month of October, once we get through, right now we're doing exit meetings with every player. Carter and I and Craig Breslow and David Ross will sit down with our players and talk through their offseason, talk through the season they just had. What can they do better? What can they work on this winter? What can we do better as an organization to help them? And those dialogues are great. Once we get through all those, we'll do the same thing with the coaching staff. And then after that, we'll really focus on the offseason. Obviously, we have a lot of people in the office that have spent a lot of time on it already. But once everyone's gone and those meetings are over, that's when we'll really turn our attention to that. And when you're not playing October baseball, you have October as a planning month, and so we'll spend a lot of time on that and hit the ground running when we start talking to guys after the World Series.
Tell me what the prospect camp is and what the intent is.
Yeah, we have 14 prospects here this weekend, and the biggest thing is to let them get to Chicago, be in the clubhouse, work out in the weight room, be at games, and just get some familiarity with the city and the surroundings. I think that's really important. So that if you come up, you get called up next year, you've been here, you've done it. I think that sometimes you realize just like that familiarity, like you actually know where you're going. I think that's important. And then having a bunch of speakers. David Ross and the coaching staff met with them yesterday morning for breakfast. A bunch of our players, like Ian and Nico and a couple of players, met with them for breakfast this morning.
Center field. You got a second to stick around? Can I do that to you?
I knew you'd ask. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
It was your exit interview, Shelby.
Yeah, I know. I meaning to talk to you about that home run call in game 103. Welcome back. Well, you look at the winning that the Cubs organization did in the minors. How about the South Bend Cubs? Look at the final out, the 2022 Midwest League champs. Back here at Wrigley, John Chompy, Jim Deshaies, joined by President of Baseball Operations Jed Hoyer, and Alzolay deals inside. What do you make of the winning at the minor league level and just in the macro sense, the impact that has on the organization?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was really proud of our minor league teams this year. They played really well. Myrtle, South Bend, and Tennessee all made the playoffs. Myrtle, unfortunately, a lot of the guys that already moved up to South Bend, they were great in the first half. They had moved up, but South Bend won the title, and Tennessee, won the semifinals and then lost in the finals. But I think it's great. All year you focus in the minor leagues on development, making sure that it's about getting players better, and winning is important. But it's really nice for them at the end of the year to feel like you're playing in high school or college again, or even what it's going to be like to play in the big leagues when it's all about winning. And they're managing to win, they're playing to win, and I was just thrilled to see how excited all the players were in South Bend and Tennessee. It's a nice way to end the season for them to not have it be focused on development for that period, but to be all about winning.
Yeah, totally get you as far as that. Are there, how do I want to ask this? Matt Mervis, when you're talking about somebody, because there were 5 rounds, I know he would have been drafted, but still, to have a year and a performance explode the way it did, I don't know, what are the things you learned about him? And just, I don't even mean, like, that happens, that stuff happens, but is there like a lesson here, or you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty incredible. It's a credit to him.
Well, I do think, first of all, I do think that 2020 was such a strange year. You look back, some of the starting pitchers that year in college got 4 starters from so it was such a non-season. You never know. He might have had such a great season, and he
pitched, right?
Well, he pitched more early in college than he did later, but. So I think in some ways you have to look at where the fact that he got $20,000 and was after the 5th round signing. I actually remember he was the first guy on our list, and that was one of the most fun days I can remember in this job, where it was just call guys as fast as you could, right? You knew that you couldn't start. I think it was like 8 or 9 in the morning on that day, whatever it was after the draft, and our whole office was just ready to go. We were calling people like crazy, and it was so competitive to get guys signed. And Mervis was #1 on our list, and I remember calling him and talking to him and getting a call back later that day that he signed with us, and we were thrilled because he was the #1 guy on our list. But what a season! I don't remember being around many guys that had better minor league seasons than what he had this year. From starting out in South Bend. And dominating there, and then actually getting better in Tennessee, and then getting even better in Iowa. He cut his strikeout rate at each level, continue to hit for power. I mean, what a phenomenal season for him. Really, really impressive.
If there was a normal year with 25 rounds or whatever there is in the draft, where do you think he would have been drafted? Do you have any idea?
He would have been in that 5th, 6th, 7th range. I think that I guess he would have gone after the 5th. He probably would have gone right after. Like I said, he was the #1 guy on our list. Yeah. That he was the guy we wanted to get the most. And it's funny, you couldn't. This is 20,000. You couldn't offer anything more. And so that was what we did. But we sold him on the opportunity. And I've seen all his comments about how he really studied the organization and figured that we were a really good destination. So I'm thrilled that we got him.
Suzuki makes the grab. Jed, thanks for stopping by. Good luck in the offseason, and we look forward to connecting with you down the line.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for a great season. Appreciate everything.
Thank you.
You guys
Jed Hoyer right there. Cubs, Reds 1-1 on a gorgeous day on the north side.